Eyal Indig of Israel, 14.45 in the preliminary round. But we'll watch for Filip Ude very carefully. The veteran Croatian was only a tenth and a half behind him, and he will go right after him. We'll then have Alkinoos Graikos of Greece, who was the third best in qualification and 1/10 behind Filip Ude. So that first half of the final is going to be fascinating. The finalists in the women's uneven bars competition, the top in qualification, Hungary's Zoja Szekely, and she will start the final. Her qualifying score was 13.6. Zsofia Kovacs, her own teammate, 13.45, the second best in qualification. She'll be the third to go, and the Hungarians will be eyeing gold. But we have got others who could make inroads as well, and I think the last gentleman to perform, Dmitrijs Mickevics. We will start with an incredibly experienced gymnast and one who could be a medalist in this final, depending on what we get from those top qualifiers. And of course, what we get from him. Best known for his work on the parallel bars, Ferhat Arrican is also an extremely proficient pommel horse gymnast. 2 months and a day beyond his 32nd birthday. The body is nice and straight so far, and the clearance is pretty good. Smooth opening, Busnari into some big flare work with the hips getting excellent clearance. Had a small loss of form coming out of the Wendeschwing. But that is well performed, very well performed by Ferhat Arrican to start the final. Now his execution score in qualifying was 8.35. It was one of the lower execution scores. His difficulty was the second highest, 5.6.
Tapasztalt tornászról van szó, sokszor láthattuk már itt Szombathelyen évek óta a nemzetközi versenyek résztvevője, olimpikon, a párizsi olimpián, korláton 5. helyet ért el, Tokióban ugyanis 3. helyen
very smoothly for the most part.
Itt a Thomas kör.
Flares were particularly strong. There was a slightly juddering feel to the first phase of his dismount, but the pirouette had a fluidity. Nervous spectators watch on. It's Zoja Szekely. Top performer in qualification, 13.6, with a very high difficulty score of 6.1. The gymnast who won the silver medal at the World University Games in Germany earlier in the year. The student of physical education at the Hungarian University of Sports Science. Starts with a Maloney to get up to high. Very nice pack salto into the Stolda Shaposhnikova. The Ginger. Not quite a handstand, but not a million miles away. Piked Jaeger, very nice. And she dismounts extremely well, Zoja Szekely. That's a good start for the Hungarian squad on this apparatus, where they are so hopeful of winning the gold medal. The gymnast who competed at the Olympic Games in Paris came in only a couple of days before qualification after the injury to Zsofia Kovacs in podium training.
Idén 2025-ben az Universiádén korláton 2. helyen végzett.
Beautifully tight pike position, making that Jaeger somersault look so clean.
Talpforgás egész számlát követően közvetlenül rá kapcsolta.
And no real movement at the feet on the landing from Zoja Szekely. This hugely respected, hugely hard-working gymnast. Ferhat Arrican, 14 exactly, a little better than qualification.
Gyakorlatán. És már is nézhetjük az ellenfeleket. A következő lólengésen next on the Pommel horse, Eyal Indig, Israel.
Eyal Indig of Israel. Here's the top qualifier, 14.45. The execution was very strong in the preliminary round. 8.65, one of the best scores. He was the first reserve for the Pommel horse final at the European Championships. Good single arm work, that was smooth. Got real height in the hips. If he can keep that up, then he'll do very well. Body maintained. He wasn't far away from the close of the routine. Again, real leg separation, off axis. Eyal Indig completing his performance. Unfortunate, just not quite as he was intending, with some pretty intimidating experts in the field watching on as well. We'll come back to that in a moment.
Orsó mozdulatokat mutatott be bőrön. Ez pedig itt már a leugrása. És nézzük Szekely Zoja.
How high will this score be for Zoja Szekely? 13.5. That's a little better than qualification by 500ths of a mark. It may well win the gold medal. It would be her third in World Cup competition.
And now on the uneven
Here come the challengers.
Astria Diana Nelo, Franciaország.
Astria Nelo of France. First senior international competition. Really promising young member of the French squad. Straddle Jaeger somersault. Nice sense of control in the pack salto. Little off handstand. Wasn't that poised? That was a very controlled display from Astria Nelo. The difficulty score will be considerably lower than Zoja Szekely. And there's no shame in that because she's at the very beginning of her career, and Zoja Szekely's been out there on the international stage for years and years and years doing complicated routines. But that was positive work from Astria Nelo.
Talpforgás, félfordulat után egy előre stalder mutatott be, szép pontosan kézállásban fejezte be. Pakszaltó nevű lekapás az alsó karfára.
Composed, the whole routine was well performed. Eyal Indig will be way down from qualification, unfortunately. 11.65, that is a big drop of 2.8.
És a fiatal versenyző után egy jóval rutinosabb versenyzőt láthatunk már is.
Now,
Filip Ude, Horvátország.
The 39-year-old Filip Ude, he was the second best in qualification with a score of 14.2. the silver medalist from the Beijing 2008 Olympics. And then the silver medalist at the World Championships 6 years later. Great to see him in this final. Great to see him back on the international stage. He hasn't got enormous clearance, but he's still keeping the body straight, and there's some lovely work going on here. Goodness, this gentleman's conditioning. It's outrageous. And unfortunately, he just had a little loss of position. It was small, it was slight. He has spoken of how he's been feeling actually in extraordinarily good shape of late. And he does dismount in 2012. That was 4 years after Filip Ude was the silver medalist in Beijing. Mr. Berkey must be watching this gentleman thinking, I cannot believe you are still able to produce these sorts of routines after so many years. And yet probably at the same time, knowing Filip Ude as he knows him, he will not be in the least bit surprised. Two people at very different stages of their careers. Astria Nelo, 12.6, exactly the same as qualification. She's lost a tenth of difficulty, she's gained a tenth of execution.
A döntőben pedig újra magyar versenyzőnőt láthatunk.
Jaeger. And a well-performed catcher variation, but she loses the swing. You can see, I'm sure, the heavy protection to the right knee. That knee that was injured during podium training ahead of the Olympic Games. Part of a long and very determined comeback process from Zsofia Kovacs. And she keeps very wisely her dismount simple to avoid too much strain on that right knee. The 25-year-old from the centre of Hungary in Dunaújváros. Great ice hockey city. And the gymnast who was the all-around silver medalist at the European Championships in 2017 and 2023.
Stalder egész fordulat gyönyörűen kézállásban befejezze, majd Stalderből a Saposnyikova fél fordulattal felkapás a felső karfára. Tapforgás.
Style to that Jaeger. And just the single layout to conclude, reducing the strain on the body. .9. Filip Ude, a drop of 1.3 from qualification. The execution a full mark down, the rest a loss of difficulty.
Lólengés döntőiben a következő versenyző. Next on the Pommel horse, Nikolaos Alkinoos Graikos.
Alkinoos Graikos of Greece. Third best in qualification, a score of 14.1. He has done a few World Cup competitions, but he's definitely in medal contention. He can replicate his qualification display. So far, he's got heels well together. Oh, I say that had a tiny bit of separation, but made light of it. moving nicely, quickly through the Magyar into the Shivado. And the travelling Wendeschwings, and that unfortunately was the undoing. It was a bold move to cut out the middle portion of the pommel horse to get more difficulty into the Wendeschwing skill. And that's when it rather came to a halt. The 22-year-old student at the National and Kapodistrian University of Athens. He was part of the World University Games competition in Germany a couple of months ago. I think that's really unfortunate because there was some beautiful work from Alkinoos Graikos. He was one of the generation that lost so much of his transition to the senior circuit due to the pandemic. So we haven't seen as much of him as probably we would have done in other circumstances. That was the first little moment of leg separation, but it wasn't huge. And it was the travelling Wendeschwing that caused the problem. Around all of that was some very precise and quite complex gymnastics. Zsofia Kovacs, 12.05. Zoja Szekely is leading. Let's go to Laura Casabuena of Spain. Fifth in qualification. She has been a World Cup medalist on floor. Was seventh on this apparatus at the Paris World Challenge Cup recently. She also uses the Maloney to get up to height. And sets up for a catch, Evan. She was just a little away from making that connection cleanly. And that does mean sacrificing a full mark. A gymnast who scored 13 exactly in qualification. That is a very wise move to stop and not to attempt to go any further, because she's obviously felt something really not pleasant in the right arm, and immediately medical attention being called for. And they're right just to get her to stay where she is and just wait for the medical staff. Just felt it as she was attempting to remount the apparatus. 12.6 for Alkinoos Graikos.
Ezzel jelenleg harmadik a mezőnyben.
Casabuena of Spain. I won't read the score out because all that matters is her well-being. We hope that she is okay, and we wish her well as she's being assessed by the medical staff. Whatever will follow it. Krisztofer Meszaros of Hungary. The all-round bronze medalist from the European Championships in Leipzig. Part of a great collection of bronze and silver medals at the Championships of Europe. Seventh in qualification with a 13.75 score. Lovely click of the heels up into handstand. A little midsection bend, but moving fast. Now straighter. Very much a case of so far so good. The Wendeschwings were well performed. He's got to keep the power going up into the dismount, and he does seem to have got back some of that power, albeit looking a little piked. But how effortless he made that pirouetting finish look. Lovely from Krisztofer Meszaros. Yes, no wonder he reacts like that. His fans cheering for him. At the age of 24, he seems to be getting better and better. It was an amazing display at the European Championships. Really went well through those Wendeschwings, kept the body very straight. Did have, on occasion, some piking, which will lead to a few execution deductions, but what it didn't lead to, crucially, was any loss of his movement energy.
Visszatérünk a felemás korlátdöntőre. On the uneven bars, Lucy Stewart, Ausztrália.
The next gymnast to compete on the uneven bars is Australia's Lucy Stewart, the 19-year-old who competed at the junior in 2019 in this country. She's yet to compete at the Senior World Championships, but she has been a team champion at continental level. And Maloney gets her securely up from low to high. The Pax Salto returns the favour. Van Leven seeks to build up the swing and the power, and she just gets over the bar. And regrettably, the dismount was a little offline from the Australian Lucy Stewart.
Lucy Stewartot láthattuk, aki igazi összetett tornász 2022-ben az Óceánia bajnokságon talajon érte el harmadik helyezést.
Gymnast who, along with her team gold at the Continental Championships a few years ago, won a medal on floor. And she did compete earlier in the year at the DTB Pokal competition in Germany. She won the silver medal on the uneven bars.
Majd talpforgásból a Saposnyikovát félfordulattal is bemutatja. A leugrása félfordulat dupla előre szaltó zsugorban sajnos most nem forgott ki tökéletesen.
12.7 in qualification for Lucy Stewart. She's somebody who has really had to deal with extraordinary injury difficulty throughout her career, particularly to the elbow. Two quite major surgeries performed on it. Extremely determined young athlete.
Krisztofer
Meszaros,
13,850 értékelte a zsűri. Ezzel jelenleg második a lólengés fináléjában.
He's in the silver medal position.
Következő kihívója pedig Vladyslav Hryko, Ukrajna.
Vlad Hryko of Ukraine. Eighth best in qualification, 13.55. If the execution can be tied, yeah, he at the beginning. There's some nice complicated work in this routine. The clarity of it could be a problem. He's keeping the heels well pressed together, that's clear, but there's almost consistent midsection bend that We'll just see that execution score drip away. And he didn't manage to keep the hips moving continuously upwards into the dismount, and yet he got through it all as though there was no issue. So that showed a lot of strength and perseverance from 28-year-old Vlad Hryko.
Az ő személyében is egy olimpikont köszönhető. Már fiatalon junior olimpián is érmes helyezései voltak, és 2020-ban az Európa-bajnokság győztes ukrán csapattagja volt. Itt a Zone nevű figurát láthattuk. Maga a leugrás, támlázó mozdulatokkal, bocsánat, nem a leugrás, csak egy variációban.
The gymnast who won a silver medal on this apparatus at the Youth Olympic Games back in 2014. Again, could easily have dropped off the apparatus trying to bring the hips up into handstand. A lot of respect coming from the young man who's competing next, Mateo Zugec. Lucy Stewart, 11.35. I think, by the way, if my eyes did not deceive me, she did a Markelov. And that was that move that just got clearance over the high bar. I doesn't see it a great deal. I may be mistaken. Luiza Lima of Brazil. 13.2, the qualification score. Here's the Maloney and the Pax Salto. Really good sense of swing from the 20-year-old. She's going with great purpose. Lovely straight handstand position as well. Was up to vertical. Height Jaeger. Powerful. Can she hold this dismount well? Double layout, little step forwards, very good from Luiza Lima. The gymnast who won the title at the Brazil Trophy earlier this year. First time on the podium since 2021. And then she went on to win the national title on the uneven bars this month. So she's been in great form on the apparatus. She's a student at the Estácio de Sá University Curitiba, named after the founder of Rio de Janeiro.
Felkapás, amire még rögtön a pakszaltót is rákötik. A leugrást megelőző óriáskörök és szép dupla szokója gyakorló ellépéssel. Összességében jól sikerült a gyakorlat.
Definitely a medal contending display that from Luiza Lima.
Vladyslav Hryko,
13.5 for Vlad Hryko. His execution is down from qualification. 7.8. His difficulty is up by 0.2. All of that, a drop of 500ths. So he is in the bronze medal position with one to go. If this gentleman performs what he did in qualification, then he's going to win the bronze medal. Mateo Zugec scored. Actually, we've got one to go after that, excuse me. This is the penultimate gymnast. I'm getting ahead of myself. Zugec, 13.8 in qualification. Great specialist on the apparatus. And lots of good clearance. He's high off the apparatus on the Wenderschwings, working in the centre. Heels remain together, the form is good. It's pacey. This is impressive. Oh no, what a shame. Oh. That was 99% of the way there. Poor lad. Absolutely in contention to get a medal. The reigning Mediterranean Games champion on the apparatus. I tell you, it's a cruel thing, isn't it, the pommel horse? Because he looked as though he was going absolutely breezily through this display. Very powerful work. And the hand placement wasn't quite right. The arms almost crossing over. Couldn't fully get round. Not the dismount that he was intending to perform. 13.05 for Anna Luiza Lima. She is in the silver medal position with 2 to go. Shanna Grant of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. 21 from Leeds, where she is an undergraduate in sport. She's just been named as a reserve for the World Championship squad. Oh, goodness, what height in the straddle Jaeger. That was impressive. Very nice pack salto, very elegant. Let's get through the Maloney and then performs the Ginger. A few clear deductions here and there, but also a lot of very enjoyable gymnastics from Shanna Grant, who beams as she comes off the bars. She was 4th in the all-around competition at this year's English Championships. She's such a scholarly, bright individual. She's very aware of her own expectations, her own trajectory. She's talked publicly about the fact that she's been exceeding what she thought she could achieve. I've had the pleasure of watching her come through the junior circuit at national events on the British scene. And it's no surprise that she is exceeding her expectations because of her work ethic. That was clear from a very young age. Mateo Zugec, 13.5. The problem is he's 4/10 down in difficulty, and that's due to the dismount. So he's in the bronze medal position with 1 to go. He might well have been in the gold medal position, or at least the silver medal position. That's more likely. So this gives an opportunity to the young Latvian from the capital city of Riga, Dmitrijs Mickevics, 4th in qualification with 13.95. Real specialist on the apparatus. Can perform some beautiful, smooth gymnastics. Very good Wenderswings in the central location. An accomplished performance that from Dmitrijs Mickevics of Latvia. Now his difficulty score in qualification, as I'm sure you could see from that performance, was the lowest of any of the finalists, but his execution was easily the most compelling. He scored almost 9 for his execution. This is his 16th World Cup event, by the way, and the first time that he's made a final. The undergraduate at the University of Latvia. He has been quietly working behind the scenes to tidy up his gymnastics, and he's had the reward in making this final. He was in the top 30 at the World Championships. She is in the bronze medal position. Shanna Grant, 12.7. Just a few tenths down from qualification with 1 to go. So Szekely leading the way. Then Lima, then Grant. We have Romane Hamelin of France. 3rd best in qualification with 13.4. That would win her the silver medal if she can replicate it here. Only 16, the team bronze medalist at the European Championships. the Stolda Shaposhnikova to go up from low to high. Performs a straddle Jaeger. Back salto as she continues this composed-looking performance. And the dismount is simple, but the execution should be quite good. Romane Hamelin. First time in a World Cup final. The gymnast from Brive-la-Gaillarde in the southwest of France, between Toulouse and Limoges. She was a medalist at the national championships on the uneven bars and won the Gymnasiade title, the World Schools title, last year in Bahrain. Plenty of pedigree as a youngster on this apparatus.
Jégerszaltót mutatott be terpesztett lábbal. A leugrás egy könnyebb lesz,
as we saw from Zsofia Kovacs. Now, how's he going to do? Nervous wait. He's done it! He's got a medal! 13.8 for Dmitrijs Mickevics of Latvia. His 16th World Cup event, his first final. He is on the podium. It is a moment to treasure. Congratulations, young man. You have worked so hard for that.
Meszaros Krisztofer a második helyen végzett. 13,850 ezred ponttal. Gratulálunk, Titi, szép volt.
9 for execution for that performance from Mickevics. Easily the best, even though it was the lowest difficulty. As the old saying goes, there's more than one way to build a score. Now, what about the uneven bars? It's silver for Romane Hamelin. A great result for her. She almost can't believe it. In her first World Cup final ever. A silver medal and a place on the podium. The classified results in the men's pommel horse competition. Bronze won by Dmitrijs Mickevics of Latvia. A great result for the young man. Silver to Hungary's Krisztofer Meszaros in front of his home fans. And the gold medal won by Ferhat Arrican of Turkey. Final standings in the women's uneven bars competition, with Luiza Lima of Brazil winning the bronze medal. Romane Hamelin of France secures silver in her first World Cup final. And Zoja Szekely brings joy to the home nation. The hosts have a gold, 13.65 the winning score. Dmitrijs Mickevics of Latvia, the bronze medalist, his first ever appearance on a full international podium. A moment he will never forget.
A második helyen végzett, on the second place, Meszaros Krisztofer, Magyarország.
Krisztofer Meszaros of Hungary is very used to being on an international podium, but it always means a great deal when it's in front of the home fans. He takes silver.
És a döntő bajnoka, on the first place, Arrican Ferhat, Törökország.
Turkey's Ferhat Arrican is the winner of the gold medal. He was the first to go, was the 5th best in qualification, But as all of the top contenders struggled to replicate what they'd done in qualifying, he was one of the few who was better. Experience showing. National anthem of Turkey to follow.
Please stand up for the national anthem of Turkey.
Cup. Lovely sense of camaraderie, of sporting spirit.
A női felemás korlát döntőjében harmadik lett, only third place, Luiza Lima, Brazília.
Brazil's Luiza Lima wins the bronze medal. The gymnast who's been performing so well on this apparatus lately in domestic competition. What a month. The national title and now a World Cup bronze.
Második helyezést ért el, only second place, Romane Hamelin, Franciaország.
Welcome to the international stage, Romane Hamelin. It's been a great year for her. Team bronze at the European Championships, and in this, her first World Cup final, she takes a silver medal.
És a felemás korlát döntő bajnoka, on the first place, Székely Zoja, Magyarország.
Zoja Szekely of Hungary produces the outcome that the fans were so desperately hoping to see in this arena and this city. One of her nation's finest, the silver medalist from the World University Games, is golden in Szombathely.
Kérem, hogy álljanak fel a magyar himnuszra, please stand
The
up
national
for
anthem
the
of the host
anthem
nation.
Hungary. Gratulálunk, congratulations!
The medalists in the women's uneven bars competition at the Szombathely World Challenge Cup. the finalists in the men's still rings competition at the World Challenge Cup in Hungary. The top performer in qualification will be the fourth gymnast to go, Mehmet Kosak of Turkey, 13.95. The second best performer will be the last to go, Caio Souza, 13.85. Both of those two picked up the 0.1 bonus for not moving the feet on the landing. The only other to do that was the third gymnast to go, the Argentinian Santiago Agostinelli. Let us begin this men's rings final. Daniel Villafane of Argentina. He is such a good gymnast on this apparatus. Third best in qualification. You're watching the reigning champion of South America. Very nice Maltese. Goes into the iron cross. Good level line. Small adjustment going up into planche, but it is secure, as is his handstand. Again, back to the Maltese. Wasn't that something? Gosh! You don't need me to tell you that was good. You can just ask Daniel Villafane. He's made perfectly clear what he thinks about it. Great dismount. And I just remind you all of that new feature of the Code of Points, the 0.1 stick bonus. Only 3 gymnasts managed to produce it in qualification. He's 31, Mr. Villafane, works as a teacher in Buenos Aires, as well as his elite gymnastics career. And he is somebody who seems to be finding a little extra at this stage of his career. I think it's lovely to watch the passion that he's got. He won a bronze medal on the rings at the World Cup in Bulgaria, and he also won a medal a couple of years ago in this very arena. Might get his third World Cup honours with that display. That is an improvement from qualification, 13.6. He has picked up the 0.1 stick bonus, which he didn't have in qualification. So overall the execution was actually down, but that stick bonus takes him up by 500ths. Nice to welcome for the first time to a World Cup final Christos Tsingelidis of Greece. Silver medalist at the national championships last year behind the great Eleftherios Petrounias. He's from the beautiful city of Thessaloniki. He's waited a long time for this opportunity. He was the first reserve for a World Cup final 4 years ago. We wish him good fortune. 6th in qualifying with 13.2. Good fluid work in the unison. Well held handstand. And unfortunately, the hands going down on the dismount. There was a fair bit of movement of the rings as he approached that dismount, which might have made it tricky. A lot of very accomplished work on the apparatus, though, before that landing. This is the particularly praiseworthy Jonasson.
És a dupla szupli egész csavar, itt most sajnos nem sikerült olyan jól. Görög versenyző 6. helyen került.
Christos Tsingelidis, the second to perform in this 8-strong men's still rings final. We're going to have an Argentinian next. There will be an Argentinian at the top of the leaderboard after the first three. 12.45. Tsingelidis, unfortunately, is almost a mark down from qualification. And it's a shame because actually until that dismount his execution was on course to be higher than the preliminary round. Nice to see in this final Santiago Agostinelli of Argentina. 5th best, 13.3. He's been a bronze medalist on this apparatus at the South American Games. That was in Asunción in Paraguay a few years ago. He's a gymnast without huge difficulty, but his execution, as you can see by that lovely level shoulder presentation, was very good in qualifying. And we have had gymnasts today with high execution and low difficulty get onto the podium. He's taking time and he's showing control. Yamawaki up to handstand. Oh, well done. Great hold at the end. He got the 0.1 bonus in qualification and he fought hard for it there. Santiago Agostinelli.
Itt is most nagyon szép gyakorlatot láthattunk tőle. 5. helyen került be egyébként a fináléba. Lendület fecskébe.
Performed his Maltese well, performed really all elements well.
Onnan a keresztfüggés.
This was not a flamboyant display. This was a tidy display. And tidy is one of the most important things in gymnastics. Did have a slight loss of form as he was going around into the dismount, but he held on with great security. The man from Rosario made his World Cup debut in Paris. This performance. Well done, 13.15, and he picks up that 0.1 bonus again. Only a 10th and a half down from qualification. Here's your top qualifier. Mehmet Kosak of Turkey. He's already won 3 medals on the rings in World Cup competition this year. 13.95 in the preliminary round. Very associated with this apparatus. Has been for a number of years. Just looks very confident. The inverted cross, that's the first one we've seen in this final. Raises the legs a little delayed going into the planche, but drops into the Maltese wonderfully well. It's a little more complicated this, isn't it, than the first 3 performances. Handstand is good, very good. Into another Maltese cross. Precise iron cross. excellent. Really first rate from Mehmet Kosak of Turkey. The 24-year-old living up to the pre-match billing as top qualifier. He has had plenty of success with the Turkey team, including a silver medal at the European Championships in his home country in 2023. He's competed at 2 consecutive World University Games, a couple of World Championships, and we've watched him over the last few years go from being really a fringe member of the team to one of their most dependable, one of their most important assets in team competition. He also picked up the 0.1 bonus in qualification. Always a nice thing when you see the top qualifier deliver in the final proper. And he has delivered 13.9, gold medal position, 0.1 bonus. He's just 500s down in execution from the preliminary round. That takes us to the halfway stage. We've got the penultimate gymnast warming up now, Vlad Hryko, bronze medalist at the Youth Olympic Games in 2014. We are going to finish the warm-up process and the competition with one of the greatest gymnasts in the history of South American men's artistic gymnastics. Caio Souza, the man from Volta Redonda in Rio de Janeiro. So many accolades. He's the reigning 3-time Pan American all-around champion. He has an almost farcical 27 medals from the Pan American Championships. I mean, how on earth does one demonstrate that degree of longevity, that degree of proficiency across so many apparatus? He's the first Brazilian. I think this is actually one of the most interesting statistics about him, and it can be one of the ones that gets left out. The first to win a medal in every apparatus in the FIG World Cup Series. There are very few gymnasts who manage that, to actually get on the podium across all 6 events in men's competition.
A gyűrű fináléban a következő versenyző, the next competitor in the rings final, Sokratis Pilakouris, Cyprus.
The second half of the rings final about to begin. This is the gentleman who has the potential to transform the final. Sokratis Pilakouris of Cyprus scored 13.2 in qualification. He was the 7th best. However, the Commonwealth Games silver medalist did it with a 5.7 difficulty score, 4/10 better than anyone else. If he gets the execution right, he is in the race. He might even lead the race. Inverted cross to begin. Goes to planche, goes to Maltese. Good handstand. He's moving very nicely, swiftly, but in a controlled way through this performance. 26-year-old being encouraged by the Cypriot delegation as he moves towards this big dismount, big moment. Oh no, goes down on the triple, and unfortunately for Sokratis Pilakouris, it will be a similar situation to qualifying. Went for that big triple back dismount.
Leugrást láthatunk a ciprusi versenyzőtől. Ez most nem sikerült tökéletesen.
Well, he was 5th at the World Cup in Cottbus and Cairo.
Évek óta visszatérő versenyzője a Szombathelyi világkupának, már ezüstérmet és bronzérmet is
Nearly.
szerzett.
Teammate Mateo Zugec comes over to console. That was going ever so well. He is a gymnast who can get very close to big finals. He was the first reserve for the World Championships in 2022. At the last World Championships, he was 73rd, so there can be an all-or-nothing feel to Sokratis Pilakouris' work. That's one of the things that makes him such an exciting gymnast. He does try big, bold gymnastics.
A pontszáma pedig
12.85. He's actually down from qualification. 5.7 though, the highest difficulty we've seen. So that means that with 3 gymnasts to go, we've got Mehmet Kosak, who's leading, then Daniel Villafane in 2nd place and Santiago Agostinelli 3rd. 4th, 8th and 2nd best qualifiers to come. We've still got Caio Souza to come. This is Bohdan Suprun of Ukraine. 4th in qualification, 13.35. Was the national champion on the rings last year. Good height in his planche. Maltese out into the iron cross with an opening up of the hands. Stable handstand, heels well together. Again, tries to demonstrate a degree of finger point and show that he's got real physical control. That was a bit of a reset into the handstand, covered it nicely. And his dismount was very big. Looked rather like the ground found him more than him finding the ground, but it seems to be okay. Now he'll quickly turn his attentions to helping his teammate prepare. One of the few gymnasts in this final to really make a show of opening the fists out. And it does actually bring a greater degree of elegance to a rings routine. It has the same function as good toe point, hence the use of the term finger point. A little sense of wildness into that dismount. Did well actually to stay upright. Two to go, Vladyslav Hryko and Caio Souza. And that will bring to a close our coverage on this, the first day of competition at the Szombathely World Challenge Cup. First day of finals, I should say, because all the qualifiers happened yesterday. 13.4 for Bohdan Suprun. So he is actually slightly up from qualification by 500. He's in the bronze medal position with 2 remaining. Vlad Hryko, 8th best in qualifying, 13.15. And he was the gentleman who was the runner-up to Bohdan Suprun at the National Championships last year. Classical Yamawaki to Jonasson combination, but the handstand was anything but classical. He showed great strength getting that back under control because he looked verging on all over the place at the start of it. Will that translate into the dismount? Well done. There will be some cost to the execution of that move up into handstand after his Yamawaki Jonasson. But what showed his experience was that it didn't bleed over into a difficult dismount. Sometimes when you see gymnasts fighting for handstand strength, it can be a sign that they're going to struggle to get fully rotated into a good landing position. There he did have to raise the legs up to get to the Maltese. Wasn't there nice symmetry to that Yamawaki Jonasson? Beautiful, actually. Then the handstand issues. Fairly common diagonal back step that one gets on the dismount with the rings. A little philosophical shrug of the shoulders from the experienced Vlad Hryko. I suspect he is philosophical about this sort of thing, considering how hard he's worked with a dreadful spell of injuries to get to competition fitness. He wants to be here. He's so determined. 12.45. Now this is a very interesting way to finish.
Caio Souza, Brasilia.
A gymnast who often seems just built for this apparatus, and yet he's a great all-arounder. Caio Souza of Brazil, 32, and the reigning Pan-American all-around champion 3 times, the reigning South American Games all-around champion, a dominant force in the Americas. Second best with 13.85 in qualification. 13.9 is the leading score. Bucket loads of physical strength on show. What a nice looking Jonasson into an incredibly level iron cross. Keeps his heels well pressed together. But he's lost that handstand and that's going to cost. He did extremely well to make that dismount work. There won't be the 0.1 bonus that he picked up in qualification for the dismount, and there will be some tenths, a fair few of them to go for the handstand issue. Caio Souza.
Évek óta szerepel a nemzetközi szintéren, 2019-ben a pán-amerikai játékokon.
Across so many apparatus.
Nagyon régóta ott van a nemzetközi mezőny élvonalában. Tőle is láthattuk a fecskét.
Lots of very technically precise work.
Támaszmérleg.
And then it was that handstand at the end that was something of the undoing. Kosak leading. Villafane is in second place. He might be about to achieve his best ever World Cup result.
Dupla szaltó, dupla csavar, apró pici elszökkenéssel.
This is the last score of the day to come in. Caio Souza of Brazil. He just misses out, 13.25 for Caio Souza. And that means Bohdan Suprun takes the bronze, and Daniel Villafane of Argentina has just achieved the best World Cup result of his career, and that at the age of 31. The classified results in the men's still rings competition: bronze to Bohdan Suprun of Ukraine, silver and a career best in World Cup competition for Daniel Villafane of Argentina. But what a display from Mehmet Kosak of Turkey. The top qualifier wins the gold medal. And it's a very special moment for him because it is the first time that he has won a gold medal in World Cup competition. He's been on the podium several times, but this is a career high for Mehmet Kosak.
Ukraine.
The winner of the bronze medal, Bohdan Suprun of Ukraine. Wonderful moment for this young gymnast as he appears on a World Cup podium for the first time. It really is a podium of special accomplishments for all of these athletes in different ways. Daniel Villafane of Argentina achieved a best result in World Cup competition.
És a döntő győztese, on in first place, Mehmet Kosak, Törökország.
And a great moment for Mehmet Kosak of Turkey, who has won his first gold medal in a World Cup. He's had a very good season on the rings, winning 2 bronze medals in Cottbus and Antalya, then a silver in Tashkent, and now he has taken the title. We'll have the national anthem of Turkey for the second time today.
Please stand up for the national anthem of Turkey. Congratulations, gentlemen.
And there they are, the medalists in the still rings competition at the Szombathely World Challenge Cup of Artistic Gymnastics.
Az idei Challenge világkupa sorozat utolsó állomása.